as my brother said, I'm the founder and CEO of Wakote. Basically, we are a company seeking to bridge the gap between Africa and the Caribbean through tech, enterprise, and stories. We are a holding company, and some of the holdings that we have include an online magazine, wakote.com, where we share stories that show similarities between African music, African and Caribbean music, African and Caribbean food, gives us some perspective on what public policy leaders in the Caribbean think about how we can further bridge the gap between Africa and the Caribbean. We have a publishing house called Wakote Books, where we publish African and Caribbean authors. And our latest project in tech is a project called Notes, where we provide high-quality learning resources for African and Caribbean school leaving exams. We want to use gamification ultimately to be able to help African students bridge the gap in a tangible way. So we want those at the top of our leaderboard, one African student, one Caribbean student, to be able to, cross the bridge and experience Africa in the Caribbean and vice versa. Today's discussion was interesting and very much needed. As you said, the discussion surrounded, solidifying the relationship between the countries in the Atlantic Basin in a world that is becoming so fragmented. We have war in the East, war here, war there, and so we're looking to find ways to come together. And one of these solutions that I proffered was that Africa and the Caribbean, because they are so similar in terms of the development problematic, in terms of culture, in terms of even geographic terrain and climate, etc., that there is an opportunity for us to look towards solving African and Caribbean problems simultaneously. So, for example, both Africa and the Caribbean share the issue of food security. The Caribbean is pretty small. Africa is large. There are huge amounts of arable land. We eat similar foods. There is room for us to solve this problem. Together, Africa can export food grown to the Caribbean, thereby, increasing, the exports, while simultaneously solving the problem of food security for the region. I also spoke about climate change, which is something that both Africa and the Caribbean are feeling the brunt of, even though it has been established that they are not the highest emitters of greenhouse gases. If we begin to look at ways that we can solve problems that we share simultaneously, I think we'll be better solidified and we'll be making headway much more quickly. Morocco has been a fantastic ally to the region, and we'd love to see more African countries follow the footprint of Morocco, in becoming an ally to other developing nations within the Atlantic Basin. If we come together, there is much good that we can do.